One of South Africa's busiest border posts will be booming with activity over the next few days. This as traffic volumes increase at the Beitbridge border post. Thousands of people are expected to flood the post as they return from Zimbabwe. Officials say the return leg has always presented serious challenges, and Nqobile Madlala is standing by to talk us through some of those challenges, Nqobile, which include illegal crossings.
Yes, to do illegal crossing being one of the issues that they're watching quite closely. You will remember that we were told also that there's going to be operations that are taking place during the day and at night as officials try to clear that out. We know that at this very point that there's a river as well that is being used, that people cross over, and there are boats that they use that that side. So they are ensuring that they're able to stop that from taking place. But far beyond that, you need also documentation, and that's where we find ourselves, the immigration. This is the overflow of immigration. People that are standing here are basically coming to ensure that they can clear out their documentation, make sure that they've got passports, that they are coming into the country legally. And of course you will remember that some of them are coming in using buses as well as private cars, and those are some of the issues that they need to look at in terms of if the car is supposed to be in the country, if it's cleared for all of that. So now I want to bring in Deputy Commissioner to give us great details on that. Deputy Commissioner, we know that already there are some people that are trying to get into the country illegally. What sort of challenges do you find yourself dealing with at immigration?
Good morning, Nqobile. The challenges that we have, as you rightfully indicated, are those people who are trying to get in illegally. But this time around, nature has favored us in some way because the river is full. So even those who might try to cross through the river are disabled to do so. And you would have known in the past that there are some boats that are operating within the radius close to the border that are being used to transport people from that side illegally to our side. Our colleagues in the SANDF, whom we are working very closely with, are managing that situation to make sure that there is no boat movement. And should there be any boat that they would find, it will be confiscated, it will be destroyed there. So we don't have much problems in the periphery of the port, but very close to the port, which is where those activities are constrained to because of the challenges of the river being full. We are very much ready. There is a bridge that they often take advantage of to try and get in through under the bridge and onto the port perimeter. And we're having the law enforcement part of our border guards who are around here together with SAPS members who are managing to make sure that is not allowed. But then when you get into the inside of the port itself, as you can see, we're having in the building, the immigration desks are taking care of this movement to check the documentation. Are they having legal documents, passports? Are they valid to allow them to get into the country? In order to manage the flow, because now you can see movement is picking up. We have created the overflows. As you can see behind us, this is the park home. It's not our ordinary immigration area. It is the extension or the overflow that has been created. We have another overflow in Manica on the downside where we are able to do the same processing to make sure that people are not standing in long queues for a long time.
Deputy Commissioner, we know that there are also issues with regards to these buses that come into the country, and they would have done things that are illegal, which we understand that you give them fines. Are you finding that they're paying these fines?
That is the biggest challenge. The state is owed a lot of money in people who had been fined, having been found to be probably transporting people who are illegal, because conveyancers have a responsibility. When you transport people, you have to make sure that the people you have on your bus who are getting into the country have legal documents. So if you are found to be transporting people who don't have legal documents to allow them to get into South Africa, that conveyancer has to be fined. So fines are being issued over time, but the fines are not being honored. Payments are not happening as they should. Now what we have done this time around is to make sure that there is no bus that will be allowed to transit and get into the country and take people either to Johannesburg or to Cape Town or wherever in our country who are still owing the state some money through fines. So Just from last night, only about 15 buses were found, which were trying to get back into the country. They were being driven into the country, again transporting people into South Africa, whereas they still owe us some money. They have fines that had not been paid, and they are not allowed to go through. Some are still conveying some people who are illegal. It doesn't matter how many we find. If there are any number of illegal people who are in your bus, that bus will be turned back. So we are having such buses that are here, that are still to return, or they are waiting for the bus owners to pay for them to proceed.
Deputy Commissioner, they're just explaining us the issues that they're dealing with, Dudu. So those buses being looked at quite closely, over 10 buses, that's 15 buses to be correct, that have been stopped because they owe the state money. So they're looking at that at this very moment, and people just clearing their documentation right behind me. And that process will still continue throughout the day and will be watched closely in the overflow as well.